Hello guys, we're a series channel here, and today we're reading our next story of book 5, Troublesome Engines. In yesterday's latest book, we read Tenders and Turntables, where Gordon was too big to be on a turntable, and the wind was so strong that it made James go round and round on a round table. But as you guys saw on yesterday's cliffhanger, James, Gordon, and Henry are planning something. And today, we're about to find out what they are planning. With today's story being Trouble in the Shed. The Fat Controller sat in his office and listened to the Fat Controller frown and said, "Oh, what a nuisance! Passengers how am I supposed to possibly work with all this noise? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear." "Yes, what is it?" The station master looked very worried. "There's trouble in the shed," he said. "Henry is soaking and there's no train. Messengers are saying this is a bad railway." "Uh-huh, indeed. Really, we cannot allow that now. I'm trying to speak to Henry." The Fat Controller found Henry, Gordon, and James looking sulky. "Now come on, Henry. It's time your train was ready." Henry didn't answer. It was Gordon who said, "Henry's not going. So neither are me and James. We don't shunt like common tank engines. We are important tender engines. If you don't mind, you fetch our coaches for us, and we'll put them won't shunt tender engines, don't shunt." So the three of them all let off steam in a cheeky way. And the Fat Controller said, "Oh, indeed. Engines on my railway do as they're told. I'll go and find that Edward was shunting. I say, Edward, leave those tracks. Will you please? I want you to shunt coaches for me in the yard." "Oh, thank you, sir. That'll be a nice change." "That's a good engine. Off you go then." So Edward found coaches for the three engines that day. The trains ran as usual. But when the Fat Controller came next morning, Edward looked unhappy. Gordon came past clanging and hissing very rude. "Why, bless me! What a noise! They say tender engines don't shunt, and last night they said I had wheels. I haven't, sir." "No, Edward, of course you haven't. That you nice blue ones, and I'm proud of your tender engines, too. But all the same, you did be happier on our own yard. We need a tank engine here." And the Fat Controller went to an engine's workshop and saw all sorts of tank engines. At last, he saw a small little green engine. Yes, I think so. That's the one. I said, if I choose, you have to work hard. Oh, yes, sir. That's a good engine. I'll call you, Percy. Yes, Percy. Do you like that, Percy?" "Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, sir." "Yes, sir." So the Fat Controller drove Percy back to the yard and introduced him to Edward. Percy soon learned what he had to do, and they had a happy afternoon. And then Henry came by hissing, as usual. But Percy just went, That really frightened Henry. He jumped and ran away. Edward laughed and said, "How beautifully you wished him, Percy. I can't make a noise like that. Oh, it's nothing. You should hear him in the workshops. You have to make a noise like that." Next morning, Thomas arrived. "Hello, Edward." "Oh, hello, Thomas. The Beckett killer sent me. He expects he wants help." "Oh, he does indeed. Well, Thomas here comes now. Well done, Thomas. Quick now, listen. Henry, Gordon, and James are sulking in the shed. They said won't shut like common tank engines. So you have to shut them up, and I want you to run the common tank engines. Indeed. We'll show them. Well done, Thomas and Percy. Here, we'll help you too. Oh, won't you, Percy?" "Yes, sir. Edward and Thomas pulled the trains in opposite ends. They whistled to each other as they passed the line. There were fewer trains, but the passengers didn't mind. They knew the three other engines were having a lesson. Henry, Gordon, and James stayed shut in the shed and were cold and lonely. Miserable. They wished they hadn't been so silly. Well, that's pretty much it for this story. Now, since that Percy is on the island of Sodor, we're getting ready for our next story, which Percy gets a little scared by Gordon, and he runs away. But again, we're not reading that story today, because that will be for another day. It's the Relic Series channel, signing off.